These opening fixtures are an absolute joke. As I predicted for the past 3 to 4 weeks, it was always going to be Man United or Arsenal set up for failure at the beginning of this season. It was always going to be Manchester United or Arsenal that was put into a position for the media to overly criticize, throw under the bus, make crazy sensationalist predictions after just one game. What they normally do is the Friday night game against a decent opponent, home or away. They find a team who's just been promoted that could cause a shock. They stick you away. We saw Arsenal Brentford a few years ago. They did United Fulham last season, with United obviously being sketchy with all the problems we had. And it's the opening game, the most famous game. But invariably in the last few years, Arsenal and Man United respectively have got through that game. So what have the Premier League done this time? What have the Premier League concocted? Let's make Man United and Arsenal play each other on the opening game of the season. Now, listen, I'm crying foul. For once, I'm crying conspiracy. I don't believe that the computer has randomly generated that fixture. I don't believe it in a month of Sundays. I can't. I won't. I don't believe it. I cannot fathom. I cannot believe. I cannot be convinced that this was a random act by a computer. I just don't believe it. Nobody has got an opening run of games where the first 5 or 6, there's no challenging fixtures. Nobody has got that. However, for Man United and Arsenal to have to play each other in the first game, I think personally is a fix. I think is an absolute, unadulterated guarantee of a fix. This way, they're guaranteed to get what they want. One of the teams or both are going to be heavily ridiculed. They know that we're both in for one of the same strikers in Gyökeres. Well, let's see what happens. Do Arsenal choose Gyökeres? Did he score against United on the opening day? Do they choose Šeško? And Šeško scores on the opening day. Do Arsenal go with Šeško and United get Gyökeres, and then Gyökeres dunks on Arsenal and it creates a narrative? Do they get Gyökeres and Šeško goes to Man United, who is linked to Manchester United, and he scores and wins against Arsenal, creates a narrative? There is so many subplots to this. It's nearly always Man United and Arsenal that open the season. They're always doing it in the hope that it goes wrong for us, United or Arsenal. I know a lot of you viewing are Arsenal fans. This stinks to high heaven, 110%. And as a United fan, when I look at all the opening fixtures, I'm sitting here looking at this now and I think Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Burnley at home is a game that we should be winning. And then it's away to Man City and at home to Chelsea. Very difficult games. And at the end of the day, you've got to play all these teams at some point. It couldn't be a more difficult start. But the Arsenal game right at the beginning, I think, is horrendous. Arsenal's isn't much better, by the way. They play United away, Leeds at home, Liverpool away, Forest at home, and then City at home. Then they're away to Newcastle. The opening 6 matches, every single one of them for Arsenal, you could argue barring Leeds at home, is a very difficult game indeed when you look at last season's performances. So both Man United and Arsenal have been given very, very difficult beginnings to the Premier League season. You look at City and you think they've got Wolves, then they play Spurs, and they play Brighton. Then they play Man United at home. And then in fairness, then they have Arsenal away. Then they play Burnley. So they're getting they're getting 4 mid-table teams, or 5 if you include Manchester United in that, but 4 mid-table teams and Arsenal in their opening games. And then when we look at Liverpool's fixtures, let's just take a look at these for a moment, who are also going to be in the title race. This is a little harder, but again, they play Arsenal and Newcastle in their first 3 games. So that is difficult. But the opening game at home against Bournemouth, they always beat Bournemouth. They always beat them at home. The 3 games after that, Burnley, Everton, Crystal Palace. So again, of their opening 6 games for Liverpool, They're playing 4 teams that are mid-table to relegation candidates. I know there's a Merseyside derby in there, but again, they're playing that at home. They always win it. They always win it. So 4 relegation to mid-table teams in their opening 6 games. It might be random. You may believe it's random. You may think I'm a conspiracy theorist. You may think I'm going too far. But for me, the Premier League has 110% done this. Not just to screw Arsenal's title charge from the beginning. Not only to try and create a difficult start so they can run a media agenda towards getting Ruben Amorim sacked. That will be part of their thinking. They're thinking about the narratives, the subplots. They're obviously talking to the broadcasters, the TNT Sports and mainly Sky. Get your narratives ready. Get your stories ready if they lose these games. Getting the journalists already, sourcing information to go, this is what we can write if it goes wrong. The narrative is already being created. They're doing it, as I say, to try and damage their starts of the season so they can run these big narratives. The opening games plus the opening weekend against each other. I'm going to say it as it is. As far as I can see, this stinks to high heaven. Now, I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions in the comment section below. But Manchester United and Arsenal are being screwed over here by the EPL. No doubt about it in my mind. I haven't checked Chelsea's opening fixtures, to be fair. Let me just search that now whilst we're recording. Let's look at Chelsea's opening fixtures and see what they're saying. Now they've all been officially released. Chelsea's opening games: Palace, West Ham, Fulham, Brentford, Man United, Brighton. Again, you may want to banter and put Man United into the mid-table relegation level because of where we finished last season, so that's fair. So if we do that, Brighton are mid-table, Brentford are mid-table, and they're going to lose half their squad. United are mid-table, Fulham mid-table, West Ham relegation, Palace mid-table. 6 opening games mid-table. I don't see, and I know that we all have to play each other, but it's runs of games and starting the season. You know, Chelsea will probably have a run later in the season that's a little harder. I'm actually looking at it now. It doesn't actually appear they have too many difficult games back to back. There's a period where they play they play Newcastle, City, and United in close proximity in March and April. Outside of that, they've actually got some really good fixtures, Chelsea. So again, I look at Chelsea. I think Palace at home, they should win. West Ham away, they should win. Fulham at home, they should win. Brentford away, they should win. Man United away. I would expect Man United to at least get a point in that game. Brighton at home, they should win. I mean, Chelsea, they should be having a fantastic start to their season. There's no doubt about it. A fair play to them. Chelsea have done nothing wrong here. And Chelsea haven't paid anybody for this. Chelsea are not cheats in any capacity. But for me, just as a Man United fan, I feel a little bit hard done by. I feel a little bit like there's a narrative here that has been created based on last season with United being so poor. The comments made by Omar Barada, the comments being made by Ruben Amorim at the end of last season. And then you look at Arsenal. And of course, I get it. I understand it. But the league in itself, coupled with its broadcasters and the journalists closely connected, they want to create a very early narrative. Arteta out. They haven't done enough. Is their title race over? So how do you do this? Let's give those two teams the hardest opening fixtures, and let's make them play each other on the opening day of the season, whilst giving their rivals, most of them, 4 to 5 mid-table to relegation teams in their opening 6 matches. Crazy. Listen, hit the like and the share button, people. Make sure you're subscribing to this new channel. Daily content. The Football Terrace is going nowhere. Still going to be on the United stand, and that's football, but just another place for us to post some content that isn't going to be on those platforms. So get yourself subscribing, get the notifications turned on, and we'll see you all again soon. Peace.